This is a production of kmmedia.pro. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. Our goal is simple, to explore evolving ideas one conversation at a time. So come on over into our world. I know you'll like it, because on today's show, today we feature a local gal that I just swallowed wrong, and that's terrible. Pardon me very much. My name is Kevin McDonald, the coughing one, and this is Positive Talk Radio. And we've got a gal. She's local. She's here, so you can actually benefit from her experience and who she is and what she does. And we're going to get into all of that. I'm just thrilled to death to have you here, Erin. But first, we've got to talk to Nathan and say, hey, Nathan, how are you today?
Good morning, Kevin. I'm not the only one here, or you're not the only one. It's great to be back with you after taking a little short vacation off.
Well, you needed to take the time. Eric did a fine job, and but we always appreciate having you here. You add so much to the show.
I missed you last week.
Aw, ain't that special? It's nice to be missed. It's been such a long time since anybody missed me. Never mind. So in any event, Erin MacCoy is with us.
Yes.
And it's MacCoy.
MacCoy.
MacCoy,
yes.
not
yes,
McCoy.
I am. Not McCoy.
And, see, I'm like McDonald, not MacDonald. So that's that. And so there you are. And welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing really great. Thanks for having me. It's really a pleasure to hang out with you both. Nathan right there, Kevin right over here. I love it.
And today we are going to open up the phone lines and let people come and talk to you. But first of all, we need to let them know what they can come and talk to you about. And so let's talk about you and your coaching and your gifts that you've had. You've had the gift of insight since you were very little. Mm-hmm. And you've been working with that your entire life. And you employ it in the coaching that you do and trying to help, and predominantly women, which is I'm fascinated with, because I think that is such a really, you guys as in women, I suppose it would be you gals.
Us gals.
Us gals, yeah.
Us gals. Mm-hmm.
You gals. You spend all of your time caring for other people, helping other people out, and a lot of times you are the last ones to get taken care of.
Totally.
And that needs to change, in my opinion, because
thank you.
Well, you're welcome. If you're, by the way, I got to ask Nathan. Nathan,
yes.
Do you know how to cook?
Do I know how to cook? I'm a mean microwave user.
Hey,
I can nuke up a hot pocket like nobody else.
By the way, I got to tell you, I used to do Thanksgiving meals for my family, for 15 people, by myself.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So I know how to make stuffing, mashed potatoes, yams, and I've got a killer recipe for turkey. So before the show ends, I'm going to give people the recipe that I use for turkey, and it comes out just beautifully. But we're not going to do that quite now, so you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait until we get around to it.
I bet I know what the main ingredient is.
Turkey.
How did you know?
Well, I'm a little psychic myself, quite frankly. Psychic, same thing. And but Erin, let's focus on you for a little bit before we talk about stuffing turkeys. This is a tough time of year for people.
It is. It is. The holidays are definitely a challenge for a lot of people. And to go back to what you said about women giving of themselves before giving of themselves before they give back to themselves. This is a time of year where that happens more than ever. I mean, hosting people, running ragged to make sure all the details are pulled together. It can be really exhausting. It's a hard time on the energy of women for sure.
Well, and I've never understood it, but it happens this way where Thanksgiving, which everybody considers to be a day off, in a lot of cases, it's not for the hostess who is putting it all together. While the men are sipping beer and having hot wings in the living room watching football.
Sure.
The women of the house are putting everything together, and not in all houses. In my house,
no.
In my house, I did a lot of the cooking
Mm-hmm.
because I grew up in the restaurant business, so
Oh, okay, yeah.
I enjoyed it. But a lot of guys are not interested or gifted at that, and so they want to sit. And I work hard all the time. It's Thanksgiving. I'm going to take the day off, but they fail to recognize that somebody's not taking the day off.
Well, let me go back to your turkey recipe. What time does the turkey go in your house with that recipe?
It would go in about six a.m. to 6:30 a.m. So that it
Right.
can be done by 2:30ish 3.
Sure. So, I mean, that in itself makes for a long day for any home cook, who's preparing a meal and then hosting people to celebrate and share in the feast. So that's a long day, and watching after the bird is quite the endeavor sometimes.
And I'll tell you, Thanksgiving is a tough meal to do because it's hard to get everything done at the same time and everything served hot.
Right. Yeah. The coordination is magical, really,
It,
to get it right.
it really is. And so somebody's got to be really aware of how it all works and to make it happen the way it's supposed to. And so you don't get a chance to just kind of hang out and just play around because you've got so much to do. And then the last 30 minutes are like crazy because you want to get the turkey done and you want to get the mashed potatoes. I don't
Well, the
know.
gravy better be hot,
Boy, no kidding.
right?
It coagulates if it's not hot.
Exactly. That's
And
timing in itself.
And mashed potatoes is the same thing. Nobody wants to eat cold mashed potatoes.
Nope. Mm-mm.
And so it really is tough. And so you've got to be really together with it and what you do. And you help women. Well, let me ask you, how do you help women?
Well, let's go back to the fact that I'm a coach. I'm a spiritual, intuitive business and life coach who supports overwhelmed, sensitive, empathic, creative women to turn their sensitivity into a superpower. And that essentially means that I help women give back to themselves first without apology and to lead with the heart confidently and boldly. And that sometimes really does take a partnership with somebody else. We're alone a lot in our heads, in our minds. The longest relationship we have with anyone is with ourselves. And, we spend a lot of time, really just too alone working out our thoughts. And so women are, doing a lot of shoulds. They're, I've got to do this. I need to do that. There's a lot of external pressure to perform, to be on all the time. And so my work really focuses on slowing down and returning to the unique gifts you were born with and bringing those forward and leading with that as opposed to leading from a place of, I should do this, I should do that, I need to do this, I need to do that. So I help women with giving them permission to just slow it down and really listen in on what's important to them.
I have some women in my own life who are, we'll just say, driven. They're driven to. Well, no, they're driving mostly because they're taking the kids to soccer. They're taking the kids to baseball. They're doing all of these things, and they've got an entire list of stuff. And even when their health begins to fail and their back starts to hurt and stuff like that, they don't feel for whatever reason. And I'm going to ask you, why isn't it that they don't feel like they can take a break, that they've got to continue to go at a breakneck pace to keep it all together?
Wow. Well, I can speak for myself as somebody who grew up understanding that I needed to push hard to get everything done. And I put a lot of expectations on myself to be a high achieving, type A, get it all done. That's how people are going to respect me. That's how people will like me more if I get it all done. And that just immediately leads to burnout. I mean, we burn out so quickly. And I think that programming or that kind of upbringing is pretty normal with a lot of women. It's like you gotta hustle. and you've got to keep going, and you've got a lot of people depending on you, and we forget to take care of ourselves. We really do.
Why do women feel that way? Is it because of their upbringing? Is it because of how their moms ran their house, and they feel like they've got to compete with somebody who really doesn't even exist?
Well, our mothers definitely are the first people we look at as models for how to get things done. Mothers work really hard. They're that's the role that they're playing, is just to work really super hard and be there for the kids. And I think of the analogy, or the visual of the mama bird giving the baby bird food. The mama bird goes out and finds it, and then she literally, throws up on the baby bird with all this food. And the baby bird's like, oh, okay, we're eating now. Great. I rely on my mom to bring me sustenance. And that, I think, I can't speak for all women. I don't try, but I definitely, in the client work that I do, see a lot of women who are, making sure the kids eat before they do, and, all the stuff that the baby bird and the mama bird visual I just explained. It's like mama bird will provide.
Yep. Now, you also use your intuitive gifts when you're working with people.
Mm-hmm.
How does that play out, and how does that tune in? How do you tune into your clients?
Well, one of the tools that I use is meditation, and I often teach my clients a number of self-care tools, or even spiritual tools, to help them listen to, more innately to themselves and their inner truth. But for me, it's about getting quiet. And even as a young girl, I can remember, being struck with the knowledge that someone was going to say something, someone's going to do something or say something, and I would be right. I'd be able to guess what they were going to say, and I'd be able to predict what they were going to do. And that comes from really being acutely aware of their body language, of their energy level, of their, just sort of presence. And that is what I call tuning in to my own intuition. And like you said, the intuitive gift right there. So when I work with my clients, meditation and getting quiet now helps me tune in to them and understand at a deeper level, at a soul level, at a cellular level, how they're going to learn best and feel the most supported. So, I bring that gift with me, but I also have a background in business and marketing strategy. And so if they have a business, we are melding together like a tapestry, weaving together this tapestry of practical strategy with let's feel into that. Let's see how you feel about, trying this business strategy out or whatever. Does that feel aligned with you? I give space for that alignment. And that's one of my gifts too.
And most women that are in business, well, most people that are in business, they can't separate. It's very difficult to separate home life from work life, because they're all entwined. And if your work life isn't going well, sometimes that bleeds over to your home life and vice versa.
Totally.
And it makes it really tough.
Yeah.
It makes it really tough for folks. And so if you are in that place, and you're just driving around Seattle right now, and you're in that place, we would love for you to give us a call, and you can talk to Erin about what's going on with you, and we can put her gifts to the test, if you will.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, my goodness.
My goodness.
No pressure. No pressure at all. And but Nathan, if somebody wants to give us a call, how does they do that?
They can just give us a call at 425-373-5527, or if you want a toll-free line, it'll be 1-888-298-5569.
And don't forget, before the end of the show, I'm going to give you a killer recipe about turkey. So don't go anywhere, because it's important, and you will get rave reviews, I promise. Or it's Erin's idea. So. I'm not gonna take responsibility for nothing, which I find is that in a lot of cases, the men of the house don't want to necessarily take responsibility for what's going on inside the house.
I will up you on that turkey recipe and give you my favorite Thanksgiving recipe too. That's easy.
Oh, cool.
Easy appetizer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. So,
Mhm.
so hang out with us because we're going to do that. And now in your bio it says that you were intuitive as a kid, but you didn't really know how to handle that. I'm of the mind that we all have a level of intuitiveness that
Mhm.
we can call upon when we need to,
Mhm.
if we choose to, but a
Mhm.
lot of us don't. Why did you choose to?
Ignore it.
Did you ignore it for a period?
Oh yeah. I mean, people would look at me strangely when I'd be able to finish their sentences, when I'd be able to, just really tune into them and call them out of whatever they were feeling. And eventually I learned to so many people in the sensitive world or the empathic world or the intuitive world downplay that gift because from the outside people are like, how did you know that? You're weird, what's wrong with you? Like they have this reaction to it that it's something bad or wrong, and that's not true. It just is. It's just a part of our makeup, shall we say, when you're an intuitive. So yeah, for a long time, I would keep it under the radar and I would just sort of sneak it in a little bit here and there. But it wasn't until I began to realize in my early 20s that I was only doing a disservice to myself and not allowing my gift to thrive and to grow and to develop. And so, like I said, meditation has really helped. When I get calm, when I get quiet, I can really dig into that, and it becomes like a living, breathing entity of its own. It's cool, and it's much better now. I use it so much more actively than I did when I was a kid, being told that's weird, you're weird, or whatever. So
It's interesting that we talk about that because I was thinking about this early this morning, which is where I do most of my thinking is in, when the lights are out and stuff. And
mhm,
I was thinking to myself that, and correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Because I've got this voice that's in my head,
mhm,
and I will hear this voice when, as an example, I'm about ready to leave my house, and
mhm,
my cell phone is sitting on my desk,
mhm.
and I'll get this message that says, "Well, you better take your cell phone."
Hmm.
And am I weird, or is it so? Because then what I'll do, I used to say, "Nah, I won't worry about it," and inevitably, whenever I did that and I left the house and didn't follow that voice, I would need the cell phone.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, do you experience that, or is that just kind of my weird way of reacting to things?
No, not I think listening to that voice or that intuition is really important. And you know, I experienced that too. It's like,
Oh, good.
yeah, oh God, like don't take this is where it happens for me since we're in Seattle. This is very relatable. I will be driving and I'll hear this voice inside going, and I'm not, when I'm driving, I'm not necessarily using any apps for traffic or anything. I'm just like focused on driving, and I'll hear this, don't take 99 today. Don't do it. 99's clogged, or some sort of like that just does not feel right. And I'll tell you, if I take another route and totally avoid 99 in this instance, I will have a much more peaceful drive, calm drive, less traffic drive.
You mean you're going to drive it without having Nathan tell you what's going on
It's
in the
funny
traffic report?
as you were saying that,
Nathan,
I was just looking at what's going on in traffic, and right now on State Route 99, southbound just south of Royal Brougham Way, there's an obstruction blocking the center lane.
see, it happened right there.
See, isn't that incredible? And so you
That's
understand.
funny. Sorry, that's funny. I was looking at your face, Nathan, and you just look so shocked for a second. That was awesome. But yeah, I listened to that voice that's like, don't do it, or this is where you need to go. And I lean into that, because when I don't, that's when I go, oh, why didn't I listen to that voice? Right? Same as the cell phone, right?
Yep. I get the same thing with my keys. I get the same thing with anything that I'm going to be doing. And I even get messages like if I'm driving, as an example, and every light is turning into a red light. Have you ever had one of those days where you're late for an appointment and every light is red?
Totally.
And so you're getting angrier and angrier and angrier because you need to get to this appointment, and I'll get a voice in my head that says, "Would you relax? You're going to be fine. You're going to get there on time, and we're just testing you." And so I'll laugh, and then I'll relax, and then I'll get there on time, and it won't matter. Okay, right. And so I spent all of this time getting all twittipated. I think twittipated is a word, isn't it?
Oh, I love that word.
Nathan, is twittipated a word?
I mean, something. There is a word like, I don't know, like twits going around on Twitter.
Well, but Twitter's going away. But never. I'm not going there.
That's a whole other show.
That's a whole other show. No, twittipated. I think that was cartoon. Eeyore was also in there. It's like anyway.
If you know what twittipated, what the origin of twittipated is, please call in at 206 or whatever the number is, 425 373.
Apparently it comes from Bambi.
Oh, no kidding. It is a cartoon.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It might be from the rabbit. I'm all twittipated. I don't know. So anyway, but that's what we do, is we get ourselves all worked up, and we get ourselves all worked out up for nothing.
Here's the quote. The owl says, "Nearly everybody gets twitterpated in the springtime."
Oh my God, this is amazing. I love this.
Everybody gets twitterpated. I'm not sure that means what I think it means then. Anyway, so he's
excited or overcome by romantic feelings.
Oops, that didn't mean what I thought it meant. So
we all learned something here today. This is cool. Or we're reminded way deep somewhere in our consciousness when we saw Bambi. Maybe we got it from there.
So if you are driving home tonight and you're thinking to yourself, how can I present what I want to talk about with my significant other? Just say, "Hey, honey, let's get twittipated tonight," and see what they say.
That's the way to open a conversation. I like that.
It will open it. I hope it doesn't close it. But who knows? But in any event, we're talking with Erin MacCoy. She is from around here. So you can go to erinmaccoycoaching.com. And you can get the information that you need to contact her. She's a lovely person. She's very talented at what she does, and including in that is coaching and marketing for women in business. I had a gal on on Wednesday, two of them actually, and they were telling us the difference between women in small businesses and men in small businesses, as far as the financing that they get, how the percentage of women are being able to get financing and stuff like that. It's really night and day between men and women, and I would like to see that change, and you're working to see that change too.
Yeah, my personal mission is to give women more tools to do what they love and be who they are, so that the ripple effect is across all areas of their life, in their relationships, and the planet. So, flipping the script on some of our traditional ways of doing things, I think women have the potential and a real opening right now to do just that. And I love supporting that.
How did you decide to get into that segment of coaching?
Well, I became an entrepreneur by accident, and I quite literally was let go from a job that I didn't love, and it was a great blessing. And I started my business sort of, putting a note on LinkedIn and saying, "Does anybody need marketing help?" I mean, that's where I started with consulting and coaching. And I got 3 clients from that LinkedIn post. It was amazing. And so I started my business like that. And so I was an unexpected entrepreneur. And man, you know, the fact that I came from a marketing and business background, I think really helped me. But so many women do not have that entrepreneurial knowledge. Like, how do I start a business and how do I market it? And how do, you know, all of those questions, they just want to do something, you know, with their passion and turn that into a business. So they like logistics around building a thriving business, you know, that isn't necessarily something they come with when they start a business. So I did. I had this wonderful background. And so it became really important to me as I grew my consultancy and then my coaching practice to help other women with those kinds of logistics, but also to help them shift the mindset that they either couldn't do it or didn't deserve the wealth and prosperity that could come from doing what they love or integrating their values into their business. And so it's like my personal mission to help more women do that, because we need more people helping each other in this way, and both men and women alike. So it's a personal thing for sure.
It's a really cool personal thing. And I'm committed to the belief that nothing happens by chance. That it was that you losing that job at that time was not only not an accident, but had divine purpose behind it.
For sure. Sure.
I think that everyone who is, as we negotiate through life, we all have a tendency to go, oh, that was a bad experience, or that was terrible, or the things that are going on with us. We don't recognize the value that everything that we have that goes on with us is designed for a greater purpose for us to get us to where we want to go. I know that, at least in my experience. How about yours? Is that
absolutely? I think that being able to have the presence of mind to accept that everything that happens to you is for you, you know, that it is for, there's a divine aspect to it, you know, to help you seize the opportunities to live more purposefully, to be more present in your own human experience as you go through life. When I lost the job, I mean, for about a minute, I was like, oh, that hurt a little. My ego was like, hey. But then I looked at it from the aspect of, they gave me severance, they gave me unemployment. I have this opportunity to try something new. I was bored in the job anyway, you know, like, wow, I get to try something new. It was so magical to take that leap, and terrifying as well. But I loved the idea of the catalyst came in this way for me. And it's just been like that, you know, that was 10 years ago. That all happened. And man, I'm so glad it did, because I am so much more in alignment with what I'm supposed to be here doing on this planet at this time.
And that was all by divine intention. Have you ever heard the story of the 50,000 foot view?
Do tell.
I strongly believe that since we are here on this planet and we are here to walk amongst the trees, we get to be in the middle of the forest. Now, if you've been in the middle of a forest, especially around here, there's a lot of trees and you cannot see very far. You can't see far ahead of you, can't see far behind you. You have got a guide or guides or angels or whatever that are on the other side, that they get the 50,000 foot view. So they get to pull back and they see where you are. They see where you want to, where you have made it plain, where you want to go. And then their job is to determine, how are we going to get you there? And so as you're walking amongst the trees and you're going one tree in front of you're walking one tree, you have to have you have to trust, and you have to have faith that your guides are going to take you in the direction that you yourself want to go. And sometimes you get off track. And so what happens then? You get nudged back onto track.
Sure.
And stuff like that. And what do you think of that analogy?
Oh my God. Well, divine GPS. Yes,
Yes,
please.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what that is. By the way, we're talking with Erin MacCoy, and if you'd like to give us a call, you can at 425-373-5527. We need to take a break real quick for just I promise it's going to be 2 minutes, and then we're going to talk about recipes for Thanksgiving, the turkey recipe, and Erin's got an appetizer recipe, and Nathan's got a microwave that we're going to use.
Plus a horror story from one of my Thanksgivings.
Oh, exciting. I love it.
So we'll be right back in just 2 minutes. I promise. Don't go anywhere.
When you want to say more than words communicate, you can with flowers. Your custom boutique floral studio in Bothell, Washington is anaturaldesign.com, connecting you to nature through the language of flowers. Where your people are is where our flowers are beautiful. Your success is our goal. Now through New Year's Eve, here's your exclusive bonus for being our appreciated listener. Type in promo code Positive Talk Radio at checkout to receive $20 off your order. Our gift to you for being here with us today. anaturaldesign.com.
These days, it's difficult to be able to do it all, especially as a small business owner. Marketing your business can be really tough, especially developing a presence on social media, creating commercial content, and media production. That's where KMmedia.pro can help. You see, in addition to creating a great podcast called Positive Talk Radio, we also have a radio show, video, audio production, content creation, including commercials, video shorts and trailers, voiceovers, social media development, and so much more. It only makes sense to hire a pro to get your business noticed. That's what we do. Please visit kmmedia.pro for more information and to schedule a consultation to take your business stream to the next level. That's kmmedia.pro. Yes, we can. And welcome everybody back to Positive Talk Radio. It is a Friday afternoon, and I'm just glad that you're all here. We're talking with Erin MacCoy, who's a business and marketing coach. I got to ask you, how did that commercial sound? Was it okay?
I thought that was pretty darn good. I like that you offer all those wonderful services to support people.
It is amazing.
You have an amazing radio voice, so it's kind of a twofer right there.
Well, and I do voiceovers, and I've done audiobooks and stuff like that. So I can do all of that kind of thing. And if you're interested in somebody with a dynamic radio voice, no.
There it is. I love it.
So, but Erin, if you want to go to Erin MacCoy coaching.com, you can find out all about her and the work that she does. She is, by the way, I'm going to stress this again, she is local. She lives here. And one of these days, Nathan, we're going to come see you on a Friday.
I would love to have you here.
I definitely want to come see where you are since your view is so nice.
He's on the 5th floor of a beautiful building in Factoria on a hill.
I can probably see your house from here.
Well, actually, from where you are, you can probably see both Kevin's and my house, because I remember where Kevin lives, too.
I'm really tall. I'll just jump up and wave. You'll probably see me.
Yes, he is. Well, so we promised, and I want to honor the promise that we made, that we're going to tell you about a couple of recipes. But first, Nathan got me intrigued with the horror story that happened on Thanksgiving. I've got another horror story, but this is a real horror story anyway. Nathan, the floor is yours.
It's kind of things where you don't get what you expect. And I was going through a Thanksgiving lineup and going through all the dishes, dishing off my plate, go through the turkey and get everything. And I get to the mashed potatoes like, oh, they made a lot of mashed potatoes this year. So I just grabbed some mashed potatoes and, long story short, went to the table and started eating, got to the mashed potatoes, like, these mashed potatoes, they don't really taste that good. I don't really want to offend the person that made them, but how do you screw up mashed potatoes? And, well, later on in the meal, somebody is talking and says, oh, so-and-so, your mashed cauliflower is really good. It's like, oh, that's why. So my horror story is never put the mashed cauliflower, if you make it, right next to the mashed potatoes. They might taste really good for people that like cauliflower, but if you're not a fan of stock vegetables like broccoli or cauliflower, like me, you're not going to be in for a very good treat.
Oh, what a horrible surprise.
So then I went back
is,
and got what was actually the mashed potatoes. And I was like, oh, this is so much better.
and because you were so looking, that first bite of mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving is just magical.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really is cool to do. And when it turns out to be something that you don't expect, it can be life-changing. You need to go see a coach, and I've got a coach for you. She's sitting right here.
Well, I could coach you on, I certainly could coach you on potatoes if you wanted, because one of my favorite things to make at Thanksgiving, and I discovered this years and years ago when my husband and I were dating and I was trying to impress his family. So I made, for Thanksgiving, we had a potato bar. So we had mashed potatoes, we had scalloped potatoes, we had all different kinds of potatoes. And the pièce de résistance was I took hash browns and I waffle ironed them. And so we had waffle iron hash brown potatoes as one of the potato. Oh my God, my brothers-in-law were like, you got to marry this girl. You got to marry her. She made hash brown potatoes in the waffle iron. I'm like, that's it. So potato bar at Thanksgiving, there's your coaching right there. Do it.
And then you can play some sort of like potato roulette and stick some mashed cauliflower in somewhere in there.
I do sneak that in now. So if you're listening, family, you should know mashed cauliflower does make an appearance in one dish or two.
Now, do you mix them with the mashed potatoes?
Yeah. I my one brother-in-law cannot tell. He's just so excited to see potatoes. He thinks they're potatoes, but they're actually blended with potato.
Just leave him to his fantasies.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
That's what it really. You said you had a recipe for an appetizer?
I do. So one of my favorite easy appetizer, you take a pie plate, you put a round of brie in the pie plate, you turn the oven on to 350, you put the round of brie in the pie plate, and you take like canned or jarred cranberry sauce, and then you just put the cranberry sauce around the brie in the pie plate, and then you put it in the oven and you bake it for like until the brie is all bubbly and it sort of expands out. And then you have this like wonderful sort of fruity, cheesy, and delicious sort of dip, and you serve it with crackers. It's so easy. I mean, it's a round of brie and enough of your, cranberry sauce or whatever around the outside. It's done. People never leave any of that behind.
It's colorful, it's flavorful, and it's warm and it's hot, and that would be really cool.
Yeah. And here's a little extra. So I'm Canadian, and back in my Canadian days of living in Canada, that particular recipe was the round of brie, and then you get some maple syrup. You melt the brie and the maple syrup together. You just drizzle maple syrup over top of the brie, bake it, and then you put crushed pecans on it. And then you eat it with crackers. Oh, I'm drooling now. Thank you, Kevin and Nathan. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Well, all right. Well, I'm gonna give you my and this recipe that I have for turkey is very simple, but it's very tried and true. Okay. So what you do, first of all, if anybody who's listening here, if you put bread stuffing into a turkey, you're going to have a dry turkey, because what happens is the moisture from the bird itself is absorbed in the bread, and so the turkey comes out a lot drier. So never put stuffing into the bird itself. You cook it on the outside. You put it in Nathan's microwave. The folks will be over in a little while, Nathan. And so, but what you do is you take the turkey and by the way, you take both ends out of it, the giblets and all of that from one end, and you make sure that both cavities are clear. And then you take apples, oranges, garlic, cloves, and then you dice them up. And you put them, and that's what you stuff the turkey with, and onions. And then you use just salt and pepper, and you cook all of that in there. The turkey will come out a lot more flavorful. It'll have a slight lemony or orange scent to it, and it'll be a very moist and tender. And people will go, "My gosh, what did you do to the turkey? It's wonderful." So there, and it's really
Ooh. Oh, I love the fruit idea.
yeah, because
That's a great idea.
what happens is the fruit will as it cooks, it sends its flavors into the meat and stuff like that. So it's really is simple, but it and it's very forgiving. So you know how you always are stressing that the turkey is going to be overcooked by the time everything else is done and stuff. This is very forgiving. So you've got a lot of time before you have to worry about it getting dry and all that kind of stuff. So.
Sounds
That's my
good.
contribution. I've done it for years, and I've had people all the time say that is really good, especially a turkey leg with kind of an orange glaze feel to it. It's really good. So,
Do you do anything to the skin?
no, I used you see what you do is you put butter over the top of it when you're going to put it in the oven, and then you put a foil wrap around it, kind of a tent around the bird itself, so that it doesn't brown prematurely. And then about a half hour before the turkey is done, then you take the tent off, the foil tent off, and then that will brown the turkey for you. So because if you leave the turkey just naked on top for 6 hours, it's going to be dry and burnt and all that kind of stuff.
Yep, that's true.
So thank you for reminding me of that, because that's an important component of doing that. And then you can put like Johnny's on it or accent or something like that if you want to do that on the skin on the outside.
Oh, I am so hungry now. Nathan, are you making lunch?
It's right around that time, isn't it?
Turkey all around now with mashed cauliflower.
It is indeed.
Stop haunting me.
I'm going to think of you when I'm making mashed potatoes this week, Nathan.
You can make it. Just put like a little label next to it, or maybe put it on a different section of the table.
So I'm curious, when you do mashed potatoes made out of cauliflower, do you just cook the heck out of the cauliflower and then mash it up?
Well, you can certainly. I would, in my world, I would roast a head of cauliflower with some spices on it, or just even salt and pepper, simple, little olive oil. And then when it was roasted, then I would blend it in the blender or the food processor. And then I would make my potatoes, and I would make sure that they're around the same consistency. So if you like a really smooth potato, you're going to rice the potatoes in a ricer or blend it up, whatever, and make sure they're sort of the same consistency. And then put them together with the milk and the butter and the whatever else, sour cream or whatever, thickening agent you use. And it's seriously like I will do a bowl of mashed potatoes with mashed cauliflower, and nobody knows the difference. And I
betcha I would.
Nathan, I'm sending you the recipe. I'm sending it to you. Actually, you can buy cauliflower already blended up. It's called riced cauliflower, and you can get it in the frozen section typically, or the fresh food section. So less work. And
the reason you would I suppose that there is a real solid reason why you would use cauliflower instead of good old baked or mashed potatoes. Is it because it's lower in calories? Is it better for you? Is that what it is?
Yeah. It's about adding more vegetables, low-calorie vegetables into your meal.
So you're tricking your family. Is that what you're telling me?
Totally. Yeah. I do it all the time. I do it with lasagna. I will throw things into things that they have no idea. Like I make a meatloaf. I make a meatloaf that they cry. They're like, we want to eat the meatloaf. And I'm like, great. And I use ground turkey, and they have no idea. They think it's beef because it's all about the seasoning and the way that mushrooms are involved for that. So I trick them. Because they're all, a little bit more healthful food would be good for everybody.
Okay, when you're coming to the studio next time, we're going to do a blind test. You're going to have one bowl of mashed potatoes and one bowl of mashed cauliflower. You're not going to tell me which one it is and see if I can figure out which one it is.
Oh my God. That would be really fun, and actually would be a great video promo for this show, would be Nathan trying out the cauliflower versus potatoes. Use it on your social media, use it in your, YouTube channel, whatever.
Oh,
I would watch that. I would watch that on repeat.
Challenge accepted.
All right. Yes.
That would be a lot of fun to do. So next time that we're going to do a Friday or a Wednesday afternoon. No, probably more like Friday, because traffic is better at noon than it is at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Or we'll go out to dinner and have mashed cauliflower,
mashed potatoes and mashed cauliflower. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can do that and stuff. So it's again, by the way, Erin MacCoy, she is a coaching phenomenon locally, and also is very intuitive in what she does. And she's all about helping people. And so get in touch with her. That would be awesome. When I was a kid, now I predate some of you by quite a few years now. And when I was a kid, my mother tried to fool us by using half and half of milk and powdered milk at the same time.
Wow.
And that didn't go over well at all.
Because
in those days, powdered milk was like, yuck.
Like paste. Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but she felt that they didn't have a lot of money back then. So, they were trying to get by, but
hey, that's better than just water. I mean, a lot of people just put water in their mashed potatoes.
Yeah, that's true.
Or broth.
Yeah, but you can't put water on your cereal, which is what a staple in our house was.
Oh, sorry. I'm still thinking about the potatoes.
I can't believe that anybody, if you're going to make mashed potatoes, they're going to make mashed potatoes, and if you want garlic mash with a little pepper and with butter and all of that, they're designed to be as unhealthy as can be. So if you want to do something else, do something else. But if you want to do mashed potatoes, do that. It's like, have you ever been to the Midwest?
Yes.
They're heavy into gravies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. And they put tater tots or potato chips on everything, which pretty much is just amazing.
Yeah, but that's why their lifespan is a little shorter than some.
It's a whole different lifestyle for sure.
It really is. Really is. So, so do you have a family that you get together with on Thanksgiving?
My husband's family are local, and we are going to get together and do some sort of really easy takeout something this year. Nobody's cooking. Nobody has the energy. My parents-in-law are both in their mid-80s, so they just, it's going to be super simple. And my family's in Canada, so I do Thanksgiving with them in October when real Thanksgiving is. So
for those of you who don't know, Thanksgiving in Canada is a different date and
it is
than it is in the United States.
That's true.
Any idea why that is?
I believe it has something to do with some sort of historical event, but I don't really care, because it's just another opportunity to have turkey dinner. And that's, I'll be honest, that's my transparency right there. I love the meal that comes with Thanksgiving. So October, November, December, all opportunities for turkey, Christmas, 2 Thanksgivings. It sounds pretty good.
Absolutely. Now, there are people, and I made a reference to Rocky earlier, whereas he and Adrian have left their house, and Paulie had thrown the turkey into the backyard,
right.
and Adrian said, "But Rocky, it's Thanksgiving." And there are a lot of people in our culture right now that are saying to themselves, "Yeah, well, to you it's Thanksgiving. To me, it's like Thursday."
Is that your Sylvester Stallone impression just there, right there?
Well, yeah.
Yo, Adrian.
Yo, Adrian.
Adrian, it's a turkey.
Yeah, and of course, Paulie got the leg, and then he threw the rest of it out in the backyard.
Right. Oh, my God. Well, what's your favorite Rocky movie?
Probably Rocky 3.
Really? Interesting. Okay.
Yes, although, can I tell you the story about Rocky?
Yes.
I was living in Portland at the time. I was with my girlfriend there, and we went to see a movie that we heard nothing about. And she'd heard that it was a good movie, but we hadn't seen any promos for it or anything. And it was Rocky, Rocky 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so impressed with the movie, and I loved it so much that I decided that I was going to become a professional boxer.
Wow. So what happened next? Did you gym membership, trainer, what?
I went down to, there was a gym it was called the Eagles Gym in 7th and Union, and that's where professional fighters trained.
Mm-hmm.
There were, in those days, long ago, Boone Kirkman was there, Ibar Arrington was there. There were other fighters that were there, and there was a gentleman by the name of Joe Toro, who was a professional trainer, manager, and I went and talked to him, and I was 5'8" and 170, 180 pounds. And he said, well, you're going to have to lose 30 pounds, but I think you'd be okay. And so I started working out, and every day on the way there, I would be going there, and the theme from Rocky would play on the dun, 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 dun. And so was getting into shape and was getting better at it. And he honestly said to me, and he said, look, man, I'm a professional trainer. I think you could be champion of the world.
Wow.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
He said, I could be champion of the world. And he said, yeah, you're just going to have to work really hard at it, but you're fast. You've got a punch that, one of the other guys said, you hit somebody in his shoulder and it makes his spleen bleed. Because, which is not for, in most people, that wouldn't be a compliment, but if you're a boxer.
Right, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was getting into shape. And one of the things that they did is they took fighters, amateur fighters, up to Monroe Reformatory, and we would fight the inmates. And
wow.
he said, well, don't worry about it. We're going to match you with a guy who's your likability and has never fought, and never been in the ring, and stuff like that, so that you can learn from together and learn how to do that. And I said, well, okay, I'll do that. And so we went up there, and first of all, I don't recommend anybody ever going to prison, even if you're visiting. It sucks. And
yeah.
And so we get there, and the bleachers are full of people. On one side, the bleachers are full of white people with a couple of black people, and the other one is black people with a couple of white people, and it's because they're relationship bound and that kind of stuff. So, and it was creepy, to say the least, because these guys were bloodthirsty.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I didn't realize was, me being just a kid, I was thinking boxing was a game. Boxing is not a game for somebody who's been in trouble for most of their life and are in prison, and all they do is have time to work out and to get their frustrations out on some poor white kid who came up to thinking it was just a game. So I get into the ring, and I fight with this guy, and I won round one. I almost knocked him out, and then I decided to conserve my energy and a little bit, and so came out for round two, and he started to take advantage and started to beat me, and had me up at one point, had me up against the ropes.
Oh God.
And if you ever listen to the referee, he will say, protect yourself at all times. Well, he had me up against the ropes. The referee stepped in to break us up. I dropped my hands, and he hit me, knocked me out, broke my cheek.
Wow. Oh my God.
Now, I tell you that story, and then I had to go to the hospital, and then I had to have surgery to replace my cheek or fix my cheek and all that. I tell people that I could have been a champion boxer, but the reason that God did not want me to do that is he wanted me to keep a brain in my head. So he taught me early and completely that this is not for you. So even though it was a bad experience, it was a good experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, quite the experience. You could have been a contender. I had to do it.
Well, he could have been a contender.
He could have been a contender.
I've never told that story on the radio, so I want to thank you for letting me do that.
Thank you for sharing. That was very interesting. I see you in a whole new light.
I was a tough kid. But
Yeah.
I'm not a tough kid anymore.
No.
I've got a softer side. By the way, Erin MacCoy has been our guest. She's going to come back to often. Because I just love talking to you.
Oh, back at you, Kevin. Nathan, you too.
Looking
Enjoy
forward to
talking
the
to you.
taste test
Yeah,
next time.
me too. Thanks for having me. This has been super fun. And I'm starving, so I'm going to go try to find some lunch after this.
Absolutely. Go have some lunch. By the way, I want to set myself aside and I want to give you the opportunity to tell our audience, you got about 35, 40 seconds. Tell our audience anything that you would like them to know.
Well, if you're interested in talking to me or sharing a little bit about where you are in your personal journey, you can find me at erinmaccoycoaching.com.
Very good. And she's dynamic. She can help you with her business. She thinks in a marketing way all the time. So we're going to have to talk more about that.
You got it, Kevin.
So and thank you for being here. And Nathan, I'm welcome back. I'm glad that you're back.
Thank you, Kevin.
It's been a great show. And by the way, go to positivetalkradio.net if you want to find out more about me and the show and what we're doing. If this is your first time here, where the hell have you been for the last 18 years? So in any of that, thank you so much. And by the way, be kind to one another because, each other's all we've got. We'll see you Monday afternoon at 3.